Greetings and welcome to Metaphysical Awakenings with Barbara and Eric. Today is episode 4, and the title of today's episode is Don't Take Life So Personally. So, Barbara, whenever you came over today, that was the first thing that you shared with me that you wanted to talk about.
Right.
And I love that topic, but what brought that up to you?
Well, when things go sideways in our life, the first thing we think is, oh, I must have done something to deserve this. Okay, I remember I cut that guy up. All right, instant karma. What are we doing? Blah, 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 blah. But no. The truth of the matter is, our coming to this planet is a learning curve. We are here to learn. We're not here to carry all of this nonsense and garbage that we push down in ourselves and literally make ourselves sick with.
Become sick by maybe sometimes trying to be perfectionists or trying to be human perfectionists rather than human beings.
Correct.
Who inevitably, inherently, we are imperfect. So we are going to make mistakes.
We're meant to make mistakes.
We're meant to make mistakes.
Let me qualify this by saying we're meant to fall down and go boom. And it's not how good we are about getting back up and, now I'm going to go do this, that, the other thing. It's the journey. Why did I fall? What is the point of me crashing and burning here? This is a life lesson. Please help me understand what this is so that I never have to repeat it again.
That's ideal to never have to repeat it again, but I can speak personally. There's been mistakes that I have constantly made and repeated.
Yeah.
But maybe that just means that I need to learn that life lesson, and I'm on that journey.
We're all on the journey to learn and grow and do and be for God. We're His experiencer, the experiencer. And you're not going to believe me when I tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
I might. Try me.
Oh, Lord. Do you know that when we write our blueprints for our lives, we write them on the other side and we're getting ready to reincarnate again. In the last life, I learned A, B, C, D, and E. Well, here comes F, G, H, I, J, and K.
Okay, I think I do believe that. I've heard that probably about 8 years ago through another spiritual leader, and they described it as a soul contract.
Yes, same thing.
Same thing? Okay.
Same thing. I call it a blueprint. Some people call it a soul contract. Some people don't believe in it, and that's okay.
Sure.
We all have our way in, and no one person is right and no one person is wrong. It just is. So with the blueprint, it's my understanding from one of my mentors that while we're on the other side, happy, floating on our clouds, or doing what we actually do over there. I don't, I know that we go to school and that, but anyway, we're in a really wonderfully loved space. It's all love up there. There's no negativity like from this planet. This planet is known as one of the most negative planets in all of the universes. Only the bravest souls come here, because we have to go through some really hard things and come out the other side with an understanding. Or, as you said, we're going to get to the Y in the road, and we're either going to go on to the next, or we're going to come back and we're going to repeat it.
Oh, through like different lifetimes.
No, I'm talking in this lifetime.
Oh, you're talking about in this lifetime.
Yeah,
okay.
With situations like, I don't even know what an example would be, but, I'll just use marrying the same man, the personality type. Okay? So I'm going to be coming down the road. I'm in a Y in the road. Okay, I have had enough of this. I got to get rid of you. I got to do something for myself. Praise the Lord. And so I do exactly that. And I don't heal myself completely from that. I don't ask what everything my soul was supposed to glean from that, because I'm impatient and I want to move on to the next.
Right.
So my Y in the road just became a circle. And I get to find another man just exactly like the one I just got rid of, so I can learn the whole thing again. Isn't that swell?
I can definitely relate to that, as far as being in a relationship and then like getting out of it and not taking the time to work on myself and heal myself, and then just jump into another relationship for attracting many of the same qualities. Yes.
We all do it. We all do it. These are learning curves. We, as beings without our heavy human body yet, we're writing these things in our soul contract. I'm writing this narcissistic fool that I keep having to go back and revisit. Thank goodness, at some point, the divine 2x4 hits me so hard that I'm paying attention now.
Yes.
All right, God, I'm in this mud puddle. I got to get out. I want to go sit in the daisies. What am I to learn about this? And here is your equation, if you will. So you've been knocked down, and this is the third relationship we've had with the narcissistic whatever, okay? And as you're sitting there, what you're going to want to do is stand up, brush yourself off, and for goodness sake, get up in the tree. Get up in the tree and look down at the problem and why am I repeating this? What have I come to know or learn or grow from that keeps me bringing this back? So that's where your journaling comes in. You need to put the person's name and then write out, dear so-and-so, blah, 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 everything. The good, the bad, the ugly. And you're going to recognize that there are repeating patterns in there that you want to not bring to yourself again. It is up to you to learn your lessons and move on. But you have got to take the time to ask for help.
Take the time, take the action, like you said, of a journal. It's such a great strategy to really objectively look at things, and through the journaling process you start realizing things about yourself, things that you didn't see before, things that you maybe not considered from the other person or other situation.
100%. There's also dream journals. Your subconscious self is talking to you all of the time. And you know that you're having this fantastical dream, and all of a sudden you wake up. And in that moment, I want you to reach for your pad and pen. If it's just a word, it's okay. It's okay. But you're being downloaded upon for the answers for what you seek. See,
absolutely.
It's all in there.
There was a semester in college to where I really got into the idea of lucid dreaming. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who aren't aware of that, that's be able to be aware that you are in a dream.
Yes.
And one of the best ways to be able to learn how to do that is to keep a dream journal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another strategy is to have a watch on you and always look at the time and say, am I awake or not? Because if you're awake and you look at a watch, you can see what time it is.
It's ticking. It's
right.
moving in some sort.
And if you're in a dream, you look down at there from training yourself during waking hours and you won't see the time there. And then you might have the awakening that, or the realization that you are not awake, that you're in a dream. And at first, when that happens, usually the very first thing that happens is you wake back up. After some practice, you could stay in the dream for a few more seconds. But that's probably for a different episode, lucid dreaming. But,
that would be, you would take the lead with that, because I help people discern what their dreams mean. But there again, I'm going to have you keep a dream journal and write it all out yourself. No matter if you're trying to grow your psychic or your mediumistic
your
gifts. Jeez, Barbara. Hooey. you absolutely must stay within the vibration of God. God is in the middle of everything we do. And you know what? I'm going to ask a silly question. Is God out there?
And everyone says yes.
And the answer is yes and no.
Oh.
Because God is everywhere all the time. But for us, God's in here. Our answers are in here. Everything that we need for this journey on the earth, God gave to us. Ooh, there go the goosies. Look at my arms. So we need to understand that with our own answers, find the tools. I'm the tool giver when I give classes. I give everybody tools to help themselves. And, you know, the oak tree is the biggest one I know. That was a beautiful
Powerful.
gift from God. Somebody that we know and love actually had it tattooed on her arm, and I was very,
Whoa.
very proud of that. But the point being, everything that happens to you happens for a reason, and it's not to knock you down and make you sit in a mud puddle for the rest of your life. It's to grow your spirit. It's to grow your awarenesses. All right, this is the second time that I have fallen off of my bicycle and bruised my whatever. What is going on? You know, then you sit and you ask, get up in the tree, and maybe that's not the right kind of bike for you, or maybe this is the wrong trail, or it can be any number of things, but you have the discernment to figure out what's going on in your life, and you have got to create the intention to find out what that is.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is-
If you don't want to know what the reason is, then I guess you never will know. But you have to
That's
be
true.
intentional in wanting to better yourself or learn, and being open to hearing or finding out the truth.
Yeah. And the truth scares people.
That can be hard for egos too.
Oh, boy. That's the hard part.
Our egos are very powerful in us, and they can both protect us, but they can also prevent us from learning and growing. And a lot of times when I find myself taking things personally, I realize, not always in the moment, usually later.
Right.
That's just my ego getting in the way of things. It's not my highest self. It's just how I want to be portrayed to others, or how I think I should be portrayed to others.
It's about the journey and what you do in the moment. You will learn not to be so reactive. You literally learn. Look, I'm a type A personality. I'm a Capricorn with red hair. If I can get out of the way, anybody can. And learning to just go ahead, and I'm going to sit in this mud puddle for a minute because I want to know why I am here again. And I'm going to ask God, put God right in the middle of it. Show me, God.
Yes.
Show me. I don't want to do this again. And I'm going to jump over to the people who like to help other people
Okay.
to a fault.
Oh, know a few of those.
Yeah, I used to be a really good one.
Their intentions, for the most part, are
Always.
very kind,
Very
and
honorable.
very honorable, but it doesn't end up helping the other person often.
No, because the journey in the person who's having the problem, they wrote this in their blueprint. So therefore, it's for them to figure out. Now, I'm coming alongside of my best friend having a problem. The first thing I'm going to do is jump off my bike, go down, pick her up, wash her off. What do you need? Let's go get some food. Here's a little bit of money if you got to go to the doctor. So she continues down the road without having to learn her lesson. And I'm stuck back here. I'm not moving anywhere on my journey because I got off.
Oh, I see.
See? And what's going to happen? She didn't learn the lesson, so she gets to do that loop in the Y, and it's going to happen again. And if you keep going and rescuing these people, they're never going to learn that which they came to do.
Wow. So in a way, those helpers are preventing the other person from helping themselves.
And they mean it with all the love in their heart. But sometimes, I hate that word, tough love, but sometimes that kind of does have to come into play because we can't be the fixers, because it doesn't fix the problem. The problem reappears. And now we're so far behind in our own lives, that's just a dumb thing, as my mom would say.
So a piece of advice that I've heard, and perhaps this can apply to those of us who feel that maybe we are being too helpful to a fault, is whenever we are talking to another person and maybe the other person has a problem, you can ask the other person, would you like me to give you my opinion, or would you like me to sit with you and listen?
Great answer.
Because a lot of times the other person doesn't necessarily want your advice.
There's that too.
They just want someone to listen to them and hear them and be with them.
That was the hardest thing for me because I'm such a fixer. Oh, such a fixer. We, okay, here, I'm going to get into a really deep one because it's powerful.
Okay.
My Wednesday night class, goodness gracious, started in 2007, and it was a metaphysical class. I mean, we had sometimes 30 people there. It was just a big, big thing. And that's when I was growing and learning and doing. But we had a young lady who had just gotten pregnant. She was so excited. She came to the class. She told us all about it. She kept coming every week so she could learn and grow and do and be. And about the 5th week in, she started to not feel good, and she went into the restroom by herself. I sent one of the nurses back, and she says, Barbara, you need to call 911. And our little girl was having a miscarriage.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was very, very, very sad to have to witness that. All of us there. But let me just go into her soon-to-be husband. He was the one saying, all right, God bartering, God, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do anything you say, but please don't take my baby, don't take my baby. And the baby's gone. And there's a couple of things going on here. And understand, everybody is well-meaning. When we're on the other side and our person who we're going to be coming through gets pregnant and we're not ready to go, we're not ready to jump in yet. We don't have the elders okay with the light that we've got on the blueprint, or we just get cold feet or whatever. We never put our spirit into that human body, and that human will subsequently miscarriage and go until the next time the soul's ready to come. That was huge, Eric.
Wow. I've never thought of it that way.
I didn't either. God had to explain that to me. And I had to explain that to her husband. Look, you did nothing wrong. This is a child who wasn't ready to come in yet. And unfortunately, this is something that was written in the cards, if you will, because I didn't go into all of it. But you can absolutely not take this personally. This is not your doing, you see.
That's such a hard thing not to take personally.
I know it
wow.
is. But I said to them both, I said, look, there's a little boy waiting. I see him. He's going to come in his time. The next pregnancy that you have, it will be a full pregnancy, and you're going to have a little boy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I say that? Wasn't me talking, obviously. And I'm like, I really put my foot in that. Now I'm scared, because here she goes, and she's pregnant again within 8 months anyway. And I could see that it was the little boy that had been waiting to get in. And she, full pregnancy, had him, and there's their happily ever after. He came in his own time. He came in God's time. And unfortunately, we take all of that. So very personally, I must be a horrible person for a baby not to want to come through. No.
Like I must have done something wrong, or this must be karma for something in the past, or...
Yeah. And at another time, we'll talk about people who choose to take themselves off the planet prematurely. There's a big reason for that, and it comes through spirit as well. But for
that's going to be a deep topic, but
it is.
And touchy, but honestly, it's something that is so many necessary that almost anyone that I know has either been directly impacted by someone who has done that or indirectly. It's something that happens, and we'll have to have that discussion at some point.
We will. And you know what? The way God brought it to me healed so many people. So very many people, it healed them.
And that's why we need to have that discussion.
Yes, sir.
To get that healing, to get that fear out of the way.
The grief. You cannot live a happy life within a bubble of grief. It's impossible. That's why God is bringing in all of the seers, all of the psychics and the mediums, and we're supposed to show the way. We're supposed to give the tools and share. And I'm so humbled and honored that I was tapped to do this. There's nothing else on earth I'd rather be or do. Well, maybe sing. But that's a healing thing too. Music is emotion and all that stuff. But
we're here at the right place at the right time, sharing this. So I'm really glad that we are, doing this podcast and hopefully helping others. I think that's a big part of our
whole
mission.
Cause.
Yeah,
it's all about the love. And I and Eric both are trying to de-escalate fear.
Yes.
And implant God love. That's your spiritual birthright. That is the truth of you, your body, your mind, your spirit. It really is all about the love.
It sure is.
And when you let God guide you, you're going to get there.
Absolutely.
Do you have any questions for me regarding taking life personally, or any musings of your own?
I just want to reiterate your strategy of getting in that big oak tree.
Right.
I think that's one of the most powerful tools that we can do to not take things personally, is to remove ourselves from those narrow blinders, go up to the top of the tree, and see it through the lens of God and goodness and love and light, and
ask for truth.
Ask for truth. Oh, the moccasins too. That was good.
Yeah.
Walking backwards 5 miles in the other person's moccasins, because that will reveal a lot of things that you might not have considered or saw before, and also allows for more empathy. Of that. A lot of times whenever we take things personally, we feel a lot of hurt and pain, and it's like, and then it becomes more egocentric. It's all about me. This is how I feel. This is how I feel. But a lot of times there's more facets than that, and we have to also consider how the other person or people feel as well, and that's tough to do.
It's real tough when they're being nasty and negative and saying things about you and all of these things. If you're the bigger person and you can get up in the oak tree, walk 5 miles in their shoes, you are going to give them their humanity back. And you can say, look, I had a download from God, and I would love to share it with you if you're open for it. And if not, that's okay. They're just going to keep repeating in their why on the road. There's not a wrong answer. It's all about growth.
Yes.
It's all about your spirit expanding, becoming bigger, the light being brighter, and we were not designed back in the day to take things so personally that it's just so very hard to live in all of the, here's another thing about that. Thank you. And this is hard.
Oh.
Very hard. I have a dear friend who just passed. And she and I were the battlefielders. We did the battlefields we talked about in episode 2, I think it was.
Oh, gotcha.
She was in the car with me all for all of it. And we had a great time, and we were so spiritually high. Nothing could stop us. And just recently she passed away. And that made me so sad. She's a powerful, powerful, powerful spiritual being, but her job became number one, and her spiritual way had to wait.
I see.
Let me get off of her, because people are going to know who she is, and I'm going to go to another example.
Sure. I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you very much. It was rough. It still is. But people who have maladies in their bodies, especially women now, is because we have taken this life so personally. We've taken these emotions, and instead of going right into the middle of them and understanding what's going on and de-escalating that, no, we're really good at taking it and pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down. Pushing it down in our bodies. All of that emotional wreckage, all of that negative energy going into your body is going to cause disharmony. It's going to cause disorders, and eventually it will morph into dis-ease.
Wow. By holding it all in.
Pushing it down and never dealing with it.
So I guess the opposite of doing that is releasing it and letting it go.
Right. And
easier said than done.
Well, it can be more, it's easier than we think.
Oh, okay.
And there's another download, pencil and paper. We're going to write down the name of every person who ever caused us grievous pain. All right? We're going to write them all out. Then we're going to put them in the order of the pain.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Then we're going to write our letters to each of them. That's taking that energy from your body and it's putting it on paper.
Okay.
After we've written to this person who absolutely wounded us, here's the hard part. You're going to read it every single day in the morning. You're going to read it in the evening. You're going to continue to read this until all of a sudden it dissipates. The emotion has dissipated. The pain is no longer there. The pain is, why am I still giving this person all my power? Oh my God, let me rip this up and throw it away. That was a dumb thing. On to the next. We need to de-escalate all of these sad, grief-stricken things. Our body's not made to hold those. That is how we get dis-ease in our body, especially cancer.
You mentioned a few moments ago that that's not how our bodies were designed or life used to be. What do you think has caused more of that in our modern times?
Fear. The fear of everything. We're not guided. Many of us aren't. Okay, there's no 100%. Right. And by the way, I don't know everything, so I can be wrong in things.
What? I thought that's why we're doing this. No.
Listen,
we're on a journey.
We are on a journey. We are. And the thing is, okay, that just went right out of my head. What were we talking about? That's what happens when I trance. De-escalating. What were we talking about?
We were talking about disease and what in modern times has caused us to react this way. And what you mentioned was it was fear.
We live a very fear-based life. Many people are going to be afraid to even listen to our blog here or our channel.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to think that they're going to get hit by the devil and have to go to hell to pay some penance because we're talking about God in a different way than they know.
Yeah, and to be totally transparent, going into this project, I had some fear.
I knew it.
I had some resistance of wanting to do that just because it was so against the grain of my childhood experience and what I've done. But, every episode that we go through here, I realized that I was viewing that fear through a lens of fear.
Right.
And by exploring these topics through love and light and through God and source and spirit, it's alleviating that fear. Yeah. So it's understandable if, some people in our audience... this might be uncomfortable for them or different than what they're used to experiencing or seeing.
I imagine that it is. And what I'm going to ask you to do is be brave. Just hear us out and allow that which God has brought through me for explanations. A lot of it makes sense once we put it all together. And I want you... Okay, so we have a mutual friend, and I've been mentoring her for years. And when I say something that's profound to her, she has a buzzer. Oh, you made my buzzer go off. So eventually, all of these things start to happen. And what I'm getting at is, if you're listening to something, and it might be a little bit fearful, listen to the whole thing, and if you get any kind of goosebumps, any kind of God bumps, there's your truth meter. Your body is your truth meter. She may have a buzzer, but we start with goosebumps.
Wow.
Getting our attention, right? We honestly, all of this is when you're done living a life that has no joy, has no happiness, and it's just one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. I want you to sit down and allow yourself to write out what it is you would like to rid yourself of or alter. As you are writing these things, my friends, you will speak intention over your life. God, help me. It is my intention to find joy and happiness in my life right now. I lay everything down at your feet. Please lead and guide me. You have to be willing to walk through the fear. You have to be willing to walk through that which you don't understand yet. And that's okay. We all do it. I was terrified in the beginning. I thought the lady who was telling me stuff was completely out of her mind and that all these weird things were starting to happen. Thank God I had a neighbor who helped me put everything in perspective. Barb, you gotta understand, this is God working through you. I'm like, thanks, Paige. That's okay, she won't mind. But yeah, and when I get up in the tree, honestly, I put that neighbor up with me, and she's a wise old owl. I have her in the body of an owl. And whatever questions I have, if I don't get them intuitively, I will call her, and she walks me to it every time. That's another whole Oprah show, isn't it?
It is. It's really important to have allies on your side, people and friends that you can trust who are like-minded in the way that they want to spiritually grow, right, and can kind of help give you perspective. I know sometimes we like to do things very individualistic. I can at least say from my personal experience I'm that way. But the times where I let other people in is when I grow the most and realize things that I would have not realized just keeping it in myself.
Staying on the same path the whole time is not the way your life is to be. There's going to be stepping stones that will take you out of your comfort zone. That's when you have to put God in it and allow God, like the footprints poem. When I only see one set of footprints, God, you were walking with me. This is when I was carrying you over your stepping stones or through your growing pains. And that's okay. It is okay to be a human being.
Yes. In fact, at least from a musical perspective, whenever we hear things that are too perfect, a lot of times that can be things that come from like the computer as far as music that is not organic in a human way. Our ears can listen to that and we don't relate to it as much because we as imperfect beings hear that perfectness and it doesn't resonate with us. So
that's a good point. Very well put.
Yeah, or another example is like a singer who goes in and tries to get things super auto-tuned so their voice is totally perfect. That a lot of times is not as appealing to whenever someone just goes in with heart and maybe is a little bit pitchy in certain parts, because that's more relatable to us as human beings.
Right. I used to be that perfectionist. If I made one little mistake, I was wrecked for the rest of the day.
Oh, no.
Oh, it was bad. I mean, I feel like I was a whole different human being way back in the day, and now it's like, I'm going to step up. What I do is I say, okay, God, I'm going to move aside. Sitting through me. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
All good.
Anyway, we'll go ahead and edit that out. But what was I saying again?
I forget, but oh no, you remember. Go.
So standing up to sing, all I do these days is open myself and say, it's you and me, God. Bring the angels and let's let it rip. And that's how I sing. And I think people relate to me because of my human emotion, coming through my music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I definitely hear it whenever I hear you sing. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
In a future episode, I think we'll be sharing some of your new music coming out very shortly.
Very exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. New album for once. Finally, after all of this time. Talk about somebody who couldn't get it out of her way. I was just terrified. Well, here we go.
Yeah, that's right. I do have one more question, and this one could probably be a whole episode in itself,
okay.
But maybe we can at least dive a little into it.
Yeah, we'll go into it next time.
You were mentioning that in order to have change in our lives, or not take our lives so personally, we have to be willing to do that.
Oh boy, that's a
big... It can be difficult to be willing. Sometimes you have to be at like your lowest point in a situation to all of a sudden be open to being willing. Any strategies or techniques that you can suggest to increase that willingness?
What I would say is when you realize you're having that problem, you're going to be in a fearful state, most likely.
Yes.
The unwillingness to go is because it's different. It's something you don't understand all of. And we jump immediately to fear when we don't understand what's going on. What I say, no matter what, wherever you are, remember God is. Put God in the middle of your problem. Put God in the middle of the fear. Because God love and fear are mutually exclusive. You either love God and you wrap yourself into that beauty, or you live in fear. There's really no middle ground. If you are fearful, find out why. Have somebody help you. You know, Jesus Take the Wheel, that Carrie Underwood song. I almost did that this Sunday, but I didn't want to, it didn't quite fit with what I'm going to talk about. But the point is, when I finally got out of my own way and I did let God drive, If God's your co-pilot, pull over the bus and let the dude drive. Mm-hmm. Really. You know, I'm not saying get rid of all your free will. I'm saying when there is a moment of fear or not understanding, not being willing, then call upon your spiritual team to come in and help you. The angels, the archangels, the masters, the saints, your guides. A lot of your family members have asked God if they can come and help and be guardian angels in your lives. Yeah, it's powerful. But you have the skin on. Remember when we were talking about ghosts?
Yes.
You have the power.
That's
and
right.
if you don't speak that power over your life, then you don't go anywhere.
Right. Wow. That was personally very helpful. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
Well, any last thoughts as far as our topic of don't take life personally?
You came to earth as a beautiful creation. God brought you here to learn, to love, to grow, to help your neighbor, and then, as my mentor said, shut up and go home. Those of you who know Sylvia Brown, she's very much one of my mentors, and she works with me a lot. And her humor comes through, but it's the truth of the matter. Love yourself. Love your neighbor. Do good deeds. Above all, love God. And then keep your ego out of it. Shut up and go home, basically.
Wonderful. Well, on that note, shall we end with the prayer for protection?
Please.
All right.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. These are really good.